Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Crypto City. And now, please welcome to the stage your hosts, CityGirl and PixelAddikt.
Welcome, everyone.
Oh, I'm
We
gonna have a
have
great time getting into this in 2D.
PixelAddikt
There you
is
go.
back. We've missed you, Pixel. We're
Hey,
glad to have you
everybody.
back.
Thanks.
How have you been? It's been a couple of weeks. We're glad to have you back with us.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, just recovering there. I had some minor surgery done, so I just had to take a few weeks to, I'm a workaholic, and I definitely stay at my computer a lot. And my wife and all my family was like, "You're gonna take the time you need to just." All right, so I've absolutely
Sometimes it needs
I've
to be
enjoyed it.
enforced.
Yeah. But yes, it has to be enforced, but it's a community, there's a lot of things going on, moving parts, so you feel, left out, you miss things. So
Of
I like the
course.
shows and the events, and it's awesome.
Well, I'm glad you're able to come back before AltSpace closed, so at least you can spend like the last couple of
Ah,
weeks, with everyone.
you know what? There is that denial thing that happens, I think, when somebody dies. I think there's stages to it. Everyone knows it.
I agree. But I mean, we're all sad that it's going away, but I think, at this point it's been a couple of weeks and I feel like a lot of us are getting excited for what the future holds. We're going to be
Absolutely.
trying out these new platforms. There are lots of people who have already been on other platforms, but for some of us, this is new territory and it's exciting. Change is good and change will learn more, which is ultimately the goal. I mean, you always want to learn more things and grow your experience in general is going to improve and hopefully you'll meet new people too.
Yeah, I've if you've been online for a while now, you can see that there's cycles, right? There's different tech and different kind of communities and different platforms, and they do come and go, and you kind of have to build those relationships. And but you get skill sets. You learn in here in AltSpace, we've all learned, more 3D, more, development. We've talked about integrating a lot of, 3D assets and crypto and kind of all the interactions. Now we can take that experience and that knowledge to these other platforms and, adjust. You always have to adjust to keep it fluid. And it's good to kind of, stay educated along the way. That's the thing, is not be stagnant and not, you can tell that, we're big believers of, learning and kind of constant kind of evolving. And I think this is just part of the journey. So we'll just flow with it.
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like, even just the little bit of dabbling that we've done, some of us into these other platforms, we can sit here and say, oh, well, this one does this, which AllSpace does, but this one doesn't.
Right.
And this one does it better. And this one needs to, get better and improve. So we've
Right.
already learned so much in here that we have like a standard that we are judging everything by moving forward, which is funny because before you came into AltSpace, a lot of us didn't have any idea about any of this stuff. So, this has definitely been a learning experience. And it's been something that I think has made, even some of the people who aren't involved in, world building events, have still grown because you've learned how to navigate. And that's a big step of it as
Oh,
well.
absolutely.
One thing I saw this
Well,
week
it's kind of funny too. Like
is
you're seeing some of these other platforms are taking ideas from AltSpace, and how, so
absolutely.
Spatial just launched, moving platforms and different avatar objects and different, like it's like our community went over there and said, hey, like we need this and that. We had certain lifestyles, certain things, and want them in our new playgrounds. We want to be able to do the same thing. So you push, like you said, you push the envelope, you make them adapt. And ultimately it's all about the consumers. It's about us. We attend these platforms, we invest in them, we spend our time in them, and they have to provide the tools in the ecosystem to make money, right? That's one thing that we didn't have in here, right? And that was, for a lot of the businesses, they didn't integrate it well. So other platforms are, as a creator economy, we always promote that, and that now there's a way to possibly obviously make money in the metaverse, just like the visions. And might take a little bit longer than what they expected, right? I think everybody thought it was going to be here in 6 months, like be able to do
No
whatever we
easy
want.
monetization.
And different platforms have different levels of whatever, right? You can do different crypto right now. You can sell things, that's fine, but full e-commerce, kind of like Shopify style, where it's a trusted, it's got to be trusted. That's the thing with
Mhm.
some of these, they just create a token, create a platform, create an ecosystem. And you got to be able to do your due diligence. We always definitely promote that. You got to know what you're getting into and learn, see the community, look at the devs, look at the fans, the consumers, what are they doing, and then pick and choose where you decide to kind of lay your eggs and plant your seeds, I guess, so to speak, right?
Absolutely. I mean, and you're right. Trust is a big issue. A lot of people think of technology and they think about all of the pitfalls that come along with that. Whether it's hackers or
Yep,
just insecure, unsecure data, things like
absolutely.
that. So,
Yep.
building trust is essential for people to feel comfortable enough to put their money out there.
Well, and the big thing too, like, the thing with trust is it's better to do like your friends, that whole cosign thing where my friend does this and he's telling me that it's good because he's already been in there and kind of that. So those are the best kind of, if you're going to make a judgment and you're not tech savvy, instead of going in, and getting too deep and them in, killing you with all these different terms and that, go to a trusted friend, go to the learning discords and that, and see if you can find like-minded people that aren't maybe tech savvy, and they can teach you and kind of you guys can get brought in properly. And I think the onboarding to these platforms is changing, it's evolving, which is good. Like, I think the younger generations are getting in and they're like, yo, you guys can't just start this whole big thing and not have these foundation kind of walkthroughs, how to's. If that's got it, it's all mandatory now because things can get
Absolutely.
complicated real quick, right?
Mhm. No, I agree with you. And, for an example, I've gone over into Horizon World with our audience member William. He, brought me over there so I could see what they do over there because
Right.
he could share that experience with me. I went into Spatial with one of my friends, Israel, who was able to show me what he's doing over there. So
Yeah.
and I have plans to go over and check out Utopia, but I'm going with people who are already experienced over there
Right.
so that they can show me what their experience has been instead of me trying to go over there and walk around in circles not understanding what I'm trying to do. It's nice to have some guidance, and a lot of people have been putting out, like you said, whether it's on Discord or on the social media platforms, how to's, little videos. This is what you do. Sherwin has been putting out, this is how to navigate VR chat for beginners, so people who are coming in there for the first time have a little bit of guidance from somebody who they feel warm and comfortable with.
Right. That's amazing. Yeah, no, I love it. And
Yes, I think that um, there's a lot of opportunity. We're all going to be emerged into it really quickly because we've got like 2 weeks left here, and I think you know what? I think 6 months down the road from now, it's going to be like, oh, well, I remember AltSpace. That was so great. I loved it. Look at what we're doing now. You know?
yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's great to see like a lot of the world builders and especially the events, right? The producers and that. It's nice to see, a lot of their builds getting ported over and started, seeing test builds and test events. And like that's exciting to see that, hey, like if you put time and community and, work behind it, it's great that you continue that and kind of and grow. Like some of these platforms have a lot more users, right? So you could
Absolutely.
potentially kind of grow, and some of the onboarding is a lot easier, right? Spatial, right from that website, right from your mobile phone and different things. So that just
Mhm.
gives you a different, the edge devices, obviously what they're called, is just different. And, that could bring in potentially, if you structure some of them have less, less rules about subscribing and different kind of ways of implementing the marketing. Like they're not so stringent on it because they're web platforms. They're not, you know what I mean? They're not big companies getting in with, Meta and Quest and all like jumbling there. If you stay on the web, it's permissionless, right? You can run whatever. So they're seeing that if you can onboard people from the web, from a click on Instagram, to click on this, a click on TikTok, it's smarter to do that. Build your landing pages, own your marketing. Stop letting these companies, these platforms decide how you reach people and market people. Get those emails, get those crypto wallet addresses, build those communities for yourself, for your brand, because it's your data. And then you can
Absolutely.
use those platforms, leverage to display content, push it out there, distribute, and run ads. Running ads on your landing page just to get traffic. If it converts as an email sign up, if it converts as a subscription into your either Patreon or your world, come on, like that's just smarter marketing in today's world. You can't use outdated kind of things and expect to get the same kind of results. So
Absolutely. Well, tonight we have an amazing guest. I actually know her previously. I had interviewed her when I used to host Yummy NFTs, and that's where I had found her. I discovered her by searching the web and searching social media, looking for artists. And she came on and we talked a little bit about the work that she's doing. But at the time, some of her projects were on hold, and I told her I would love to bring her back down the road. So tonight we have Spectralmana. She is going to come out and talk to us about all of her different art projects that she's working on right now, which includes some reactive 3D. It includes AI and augmented reality. She's got a little bit of everything going on. So if you're ready, we should bring her on out here so that we can chat with her. So Spectralmana, please come on down.
Hey guys.
Welcome. Thank you for joining
welcome.
us.
Right. Get situated here.
Thank
All right.
you
I'm
so
happy to be
much for
here.
coming back on the show. Great to
Yeah,
meet
thank you for
you.
having me.
How's everything been in the last, year? I know there's been a lot of changes from when you started with doing the Pulse Cats. So how things have been progressing for you?
Yeah, a lot of ups and downs, I would say. So the last time I was here, we were talking about my project Pulse Cats, which is a collection of audio reactive big cats that I draw in VR. And I wasn't sure at the time, where I wanted to mint them. And I was looking into this new blockchain called Pulse Chain, and I had been like an early investor in that, and I wasn't expecting that they would have like a marketplace and everything so soon. And I was even just trying to come up with a name for this collection, which before I was calling it Audio Reactive VR Big Cats, which is kind of like a long name. I was like, you know what, maybe I'll just call them Pulse Cats and put them on Pulse Chain because they kind of like pulse to the music. I figured that makes sense. And at that time, that was about a year ago now, that we were all waiting for Pulse Chain to launch. And we thought it was going to launch like from March to mid-May. And it now it's like a year later. And now I think it's finally launching pretty soon. I think testnet v3 is going to come out. And then after testnet v3 comes out, then it will launch shortly. So yeah, so it's been a long time just like kind of like waiting for Pulse Chain to launch and just, thinking like, should I keep waiting for Pulse Chain? Should I not? I put out a poll like on Twitter and most of the people who voted said wait for Pulse Chain. So I was like, okay, I'll be loyal and just keep waiting. And yeah, and in the
Ah,
meantime, I had some other projects I was working on.
can I ask you straight up, like, what is it about Pulse Chain that attracted you that was a lot like easier, different than like Polygon or Ethereum?
So it's supposed to have lower gas fees, and it was advertised as being a proof of work fork of Ethereum, proof of stake fork of Ethereum, which
Okay.
Ethereum is now proof of stake anyway.
Right,
So
right.
I guess that doesn't really like matter as much as that part of it, but it's supposed to have lower gas fees, and of course, being like an early investor in something, you want to see
I
it
hear you.
succeed.
No, listen, I totally like when you were talking, as soon as you said that, I thought, oh, the developer, you just, hey, I'll support you. And as you guys will build and the chain. But honestly, if it's taking this long, you almost have to think like, hey, your NFTs or that's yours, right? And yeah, Polygon's probably, they sound amazing, but
Yeah. A part of me just wasn't sure that if I even just like went ahead and just minted them like on OpenSea, for example, would anybody even buy them? I guess because most of my community was like, in that community, the
I
Pulse
hear you.
Pulse chain
Yeah.
community. And I
Mm.
felt like if I just went ahead and launched them on OpenSea, like I'm
Oh,
not,
I get
just
it.
wasn't sure if like
I get it too with Solana, and yeah, especially those like those chains that are flow like chains that I totally see. I get you. I get you.
Mhm.
yeah,
We
definitely
see
all
here
about
up on the
community.
board, there's an image of one of your pulse cats, and there's a picture of you
Wow, very cool.
actually working with your art. Um, so now you mentioned these are audio reactive. I believe we have a link to a page where we can actually see the image moving. See if we can pull that up.
Yeah.
There we go. So you can actually see the artwork itself, and it reacts to music.
Yes. So yeah, these are made in Tilt Brush or actually Open Brush in VR. Um, and if you purchase one, you'll get like the files and everything so that you can, open it up in VR. I will say for full disclosure that the audio reactivity only works on like PC VR setup. I don't think that the Quest has that capability. But yeah, it
Right.
like reacts to the music.
Which is so beautiful. I mean, you can't hear it in here right now, but you can see it. But it does, you actually can see the pulsating of the imagery to corresponding with the sounds of the music, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, so did you end up actually having your? I know you were kind of working on like a showcase of it. Here we have another one of your images. This one's a little bit different because it's not with the pulse cats, but this is also the same type of reactive music. We have some sound on
Well, yeah, so this one I actually minted rather recently. This is the only NFT I think that you can get from me right now. This one's in the States of the Metaverse gallery for like NFTs and crypto voxels. They have a gallery in crypto voxels. It's going to be featured in ETH Denver and ETH NYC. And I just wanted to do something different because like I was doing Pulse Cats and then, I put that on hold and then I actually started working on pulse dogs. I'd made like 1,000 pulse dogs, and I was just kind of
it.
getting tired of doing the same thing over and over again. I was thinking, let me do something else. I want to do like a human figure, and this one was also a collaboration where the music is from a DJ friend of mine who we used to work together in the DC rave scene back in the day, and I used to go to raves and set up like artwork. Like I did like hand painted artwork that I would put like behind the DJs and stuff. So I kind of felt like this was a good like collaboration in the modern day now, like many years later, to put out an NFT together.
Now, this is also available for purchase.
Yes, this is available on Manifold. I think it is 0.07 ETH.
Okay, beautiful artwork. Now, you've also expanded your artwork recently to get more into AI artwork, correct?
Yes. I also do AI artwork. And yeah, surprisingly, my AI art,
We have some examples of that to look at as well. I
nice.
actually follow both of your accounts, and this artwork that you've created is just it's stunning. I mean, everybody in here that has played around a little bit with AI art, we've all seen how amazing these pieces can be. But you seem to have captured such a brilliant color scheme along with the, sci-fi look, and you've kind of captured it all together and made something that's truly beautiful and gorgeous artwork. Now, coming from an artist, we've had a little bit of mixed reviews on AI artwork. Do you find it to be like a legit form of artwork, or do you find that it competes against your artwork as an artist?
Um, I would say that it's a legit form of artwork, just as much as you could say that art curation or things like, for example, like an interior designer, like what they do is considered art, but they're not making all of the rugs and all of the furniture. They're just kind of placing it. I would say that there definitely is an art with AI art, and um, kind of how I imagine it is that, like, imagine you have this thing that you could create anything from. You can create any image. And at that point, it's like, what would you create and why? And that's
Mhm.
like where the art is.
This one here, this is just absolutely stunning. I mean, it's just incredible the detail that's in there. Now, when you're coming up with these, the terminology for what it is you're trying to create, are these inspired by anything specific for you personally, or are you just coming out with, give me a sci-fi woman, warrior princess? Like, well, how is this coming from your heart? Where is this coming from?
Yeah, so on my AI art account, I do a thing where um, it's like we visit a new city each week. So one of the things that I really love about certain video games is, like, you get to go and explore different cities, and they all have their own like different style, different architecture, and then the people are wearing like different clothes, and just being able to go and see the different like diversity of different lands and places and cities. And that's kind of what I'm trying to replicate with my account, is that feeling that you get from travel, or like you experience in video games, just, getting to see these magical different lands, different places with different people. And yeah, that mushroom one, that's definitely one of my favorite ones. Well, but yeah, I have a different theme each week. And then also it's like based on color. I try to do like kind of like a spectrum. I do like purple, then I'll do like the last one I did black. I kind of restarted after purple, and then now I'm on red, and then the next one will be orange, yellow, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, some of these worlds that you've created on your account, I was just honestly watching it, and I'm looking through them, and I'm like, okay, this is Alice in Wonderland meets sci-fi meets paradise. Like some of
Yeah.
these worlds are just so beautiful, and you just want to be. You feel like you want to be immersed in them because they're so pretty. I think we have. I think there's a purple one too that I had saved up here. There it is. Oh my God, look at the colors in that. It's just absolutely breathtaking. And if I was, planning my dream vacation, that would be where it is. Like, if you could stick that on a beach somewhere, we'd be good.
Yeah. It definitely brings me a lot of joy to make these, and I honestly I feel like with AI art, it's a little bit more of a pure form of expression, because when you're actually creating the artwork, it takes a lot of time, like making these 3D art pieces in VR. So I don't want to invest too much time into something just for fun. Sometimes it's like you spend all this time. So with the AI art, it's just all I got to do is like type some stuff in, and it's kind of low stakes. I'm not spending hours and hours on something. So I feel like I can more freely express myself.
Now, are you taking any of these AI art pieces and turning them into NFTs and putting them out there, or are you kind of doing this for your own self-expression?
Right now, for my own self-expression, I do have one that I will probably put up as like an edition on Manifold. That one also will be featured in the gallery with the States of the Metaverse. And then I'm also doing a 10K AI art NFT collection through the DAO that I'm a part of. So I will be providing them the artwork, and they will be minting it.
Wonderful. I was talking to Pixel earlier today a little bit about for the first time this week, kind of played around a bit and got into Chat GBT. And like, are you using that as well in in these creations?
I did at some point. I was creating like backstories for the characters. And then I got a little bit lazy, and I haven't like updated the stories for them as much.
For any of you who are not familiar, there's this amazing program there. And we were talking earlier about how it's more of as fun as it can be. It's a true resource that people can use now in work as well as life. It's an AI based, and you can ask it for like legit documentation to be written about different things. Like I started out with something basic. I went on there and I said, give me a simple narrative of what is blockchain, and it gave me like 4 paragraphs of all the basics of what blockchain is, but it put it into this nice narrative form that you could actually take and use as a presentation for someone. You said you've used it a few times too, Pixel.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's fun. But yeah, there's different levels to it, right? Like, so that's more of the like just the learning, having your professional kind of genius buddy right beside you, and asking questions about work and being able to kind of get a lot of those answers, and a lot of those, it's the creativity. I agree with what
Mhm.
she was saying about that it unleashes, like, a lot of people can't draw, a lot of people can't do the art, right? Like, I can't draw a stick figure, but once Photoshop came in, just changed the game, right? Digital tools,
Mhm.
this AI kind of art generation is another, just leaps and bounds beyond anything I've ever seen before. Like, being able to create art like this from our minds, but yeah, you got to articulate it right. You got to prompt it properly, and there's tips and tricks to each one of these. Like, was this on Midjourney? Did you do this in Stable Diffusion, or which one?
Or you're asking me?
Yeah, yeah.
I use Midjourney. I also use Deform for the animations.
Cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I play with a lot of the animation as well, the forum, and there's a lot of really, really cool stuff going on with 3D and the image and the color controlling, kind of a lot of that, and it's really helping people to unleash a lot of their creativity. So yeah, the Chat GPT and like all the AI, it's really just it helps, and just use it as a tool to kind of enhance what you do, and you shouldn't be so afraid of, oh, it's going to do, just let it be your friend and kind of use it to your advantage, instead of cowering away of, it's going to take certain jobs or certain things. It's going to change, it's going to evolve. It just, you can't really put it back in the genie, they say the bottle and stuff, like, it just doesn't work like that for this kind of tech
That's a
anyway.
great explanation.
Some things you can do that, right? Some things companies want to get big, right? Oh, I want pushing this and we got to use that. That's fine. This is different. This is, now that all people have this power, and Chat GPT and different AI, we're going to use them, because now there's companies open sourcing a lot of this, right? So
Mhm.
it's fun, it's very exciting times.
It is, and I recommend that all of you go out and check these things out. You might be hearing us talk about certain things, and you're like, I don't know what that is, and don't be intimidated by it. Go check it out. I mean, I saw a quick thing that flashed across the news, and I said, what's this? So I went and I Googled it. It said, here's where you sign up, and I just went through. It took me about not even 5 minutes to create an account. It's free. And I went in and I started playing around in it, and the way these a lot of the AI stuff is working is that it's basically it's pre-trained, and there's all this information that's already fed into these programs, and then you ask it for what it is you're looking for, and it goes into this massive database resource and it pulls things together. And there's different types of stuff you can do with AI art. You could go into and say, I want a teal and purple sunset over a beach at night with an alligator walking in sneakers, and it'll generate a piece of art that has something crazy like that. Or you can go in there and you can say, I want a picture of, a sunset in Thomas Kincaid style. Like you can have different types of art created, so it's not all AI art is going to look the same. Now I know a lot of you have probably seen, whether it's on Instagram or Facebook, people have been uploading an actual photograph of themselves and getting all this AI art generated so that they can use it as their avatar, their profile picture. And that's another neat thing that you can do with that. I mean, there's so many different ways you can run with it from an artistic standpoint. And then there's also the whole, there's the narrative end of it with, like with Chat GPT, you have, options to get, informational. I've seen some people have gone in and created an entire song based on a few, key lyric things that, the person threw in there, and an entire song was generated, or a poem. There's, articulated customer service responses that people are creating out of this to, it's just, there's some part of it that's entertainment, and then there's another part of it that's going to be super useful in business. And honestly, it's just going to enhance everything all the way around, and I do think that it needs to be embraced instead of shunned away from. So do you
Yeah.
have some future plans to continue with AI art in a certain direction, or are you just going to keep enjoying it for now?
Oh, absolutely. I want to keep doing the AI art and kind of like further expand on it. My husband's actually an engineer who works in AI. He works at one of these like big tech companies, and he works on exactly this type of stuff. And like my dream is that I get to hire him, and then we get to work on like cool AI art stuff together. That would be the dream. Like I want to do stuff, for example, where it's like you wear like an EEG headset, and then you can kind of like get AI art that has something to do with like, what you're feeling or thinking. Something I also want to
Mm.
incorporate with at some point. But I would need his expertise. But I love that it's something that me and him can also work on together and do together. So I know that we'll definitely keep working on AI art together.
I love that. That's so great. I mean, that's something that you guys can bond over. That's actually, it's fun, it's creative, and it actually challenges you both to like do better on it. It's an exciting thing you can share together. Date night in your house is going to be very creative. I
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome. Now, you've also done some augmented reality, and I just love this little hummingbird thing that you've done. So tell us a little bit about that, because I know that's something that you created a little while ago. But I just think it's so cool. Here we have a little visual of it. Now, how is this working? Tell us a little bit about this.
So this hummingbird was actually the very first audio reactive VR art piece that I created. And yeah, it was just like a little hummingbird that I wanted to draw. And I had a jazz musician who worked with me to do the music for it. And that was a while ago, like over a year ago that I made it. And then like a year later, I was approached by this company, SnowX, that does, they have like a VR NFT marketplace. And they had me mint it through their marketplace. And yeah, it mints as it minted as like the 3D file. So I was also able to use it with this platform called Lust. The best way I can describe Lust is like it is a Pokemon Go but with NFTs. Where you can like kind of put an NFT in a geolocation, and when you go there, you can actually see it like with augmented reality on your phone. This, or the one that you saw earlier with the watch, that one was actually just simple. Like I used this app AR Lupa where I just used like the image of the hummingbird as like kind of like the tag for it, and then use your phone and you can kind of just see it like on your watch like that.
So if somebody has this file, they can just put it over their watch and see it floating around the way that you just had it there.
Yes. Well, so I like to include like with most of my NFTs that come with the files, I include like a PDF with instructions that explains to you how to do like all this wizardry.
It is wizardry, isn't it? It's absolutely amazing. And it's pretty too. Like I actually, I had gone to the other website that was just up there a second ago, and I'm at work, and I'm supposed to be working because I'm at work, and I'm sitting there with my phone in front of my computer, and I'm trying to make the hummingbird. I'm like, why is it not happening? And I was trying to make it happen. I'm like, this is so cool, though. And again, you've got, looking at that, it's signature art style. I mean, you can tell this is definitely a piece that you've created just from the look and feel of it. And again, you've done to music. So although art is your primary medium, it seems like music is equally as important.
Yes. Although I don't create the music, but I love
Mhm.
working with musicians. Um, I like to just like, have the opportunity to work together with someone and kind of just like the excitement that they get seeing their music come alive. And the same way for me, like getting to see their music come alive with my artwork is just fantastic.
And that kind of cycles back to what you started with when you said you used to put your artwork up at raves.
Sure, yeah. That's
Everything comes full
yeah.
circle.
Yeah.
So what are you working on now, and what will we be seeing from you, do you think, in the next, now that you've kind of, the Pulse Cat has gone by, and what do you think your next project, your next endeavor is going to be?
So I just finished making 1,000 VR dogs, like VR Shibas. The
Mhm.
reveal for those NFTs, like, you can go and buy them right now, but the art doesn't show like my artwork just yet. I think the reveal is going to be in a couple of days. It's probably going to be sometime this week. So that's really exciting because that's what I've been working on for like months. Like, I didn't think that I would be able to do 1,000 of them. Originally, when they approached me, the DAO, I said, okay, sure, I'll do like, I'll do one. And he was like, hey, can you do a couple more, like with, different colors or something? I said, sure, I'll do that. Then he was like, hey, can you do some socks? And I was like, okay. And then he kept like kind of pestering me for like more and more. I was like, you know what? Let me try to do more of them. Like, let me try to do layers in OpenBrush. If I can get layers to work, then I can do, like a generative thing. So I ended up just creating a whole ass like generative um, VR art collection. I think this might be like the first ever generative VR art collection that's like created like in VR. I don't know. I have not seen like all of the art that's out there, but that is revealing soon. So that's something to check out. Pulse Cats, I will launch Pulse Cats. Pulse Chain sounds like it's very, very close to being done. And now that I finished up the dogs, and then I have, the Braver Girl,
Mhm.
and my AI art, like the AI art obviously is very easy to create. I'm going to be working on the Pulse Cats probably in the future
So I'm still
alongside
waiting.
the
I,
AI.
I'm waiting for those to come. I've been, that was my very first thing that I found you online was those Pulse Cats. I was like, these are so cool. I just really liked the look of them. So I do want to see those live.
Yeah, at a certain point I was like, do I still want to keep doing this? And no, I do. I really want to like finally like put those out there, and I want to do 111 of them. I am a little bit concerned that if I get pregnant, like I might not be able to do VR as much, but that hasn't happened yet. And now that I've done 1,000 dogs, like the 1,000 Shibas, now a 111 size collection doesn't feel as daunting.
It's not as intimidating. It's a little smaller.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So you mentioned that you use Tilt Brush. You mentioned, the couple other programs that you're using. Are those, the images we see of you, you're in the headset. So are you doing 90% or all of your artwork while you're in headset?
Yes.
Wow.
Pretty much 100% of it. The only thing I do outside of it is like the video editing, where it's like I crop the video and put it, on the platform. But yeah, everything is done in VR.
That's so interesting. And obviously you're creating all of these things. You've gone to different conventions and you've, done stuff there as well. So I mean, that's really impressive to be able to see the level of artwork that you're coming out with just while you're in here. You're not using, sitting in front of the computer, not, using your hands in the traditional sense. You're using, controllers and you're getting this level of artwork out of it is pretty impressive.
I will say it's like harder and easier in some ways where, like learning to use Blender is hard, but once you know how to use a program like that, you can make stuff probably a lot easier and better than how you can do it in VR because in at least the ones that I'm using, which is Tilt Brush, aka Open Brush, once you like make a stroke or something, you can't like take vertices and like, like expand or like kind of finesse it. You're very limited with what you can do. You can, you can rotate, you can copy paste, but other than that, it's that's all you can do with it. And it is very challenging to make things look good in that platform. But it feels like just fun. It's just fun to go in there and do it. Like you feel more like you're sculpting or making something with your hands as opposed to just like kind of sitting by the computer and trying to figure out the UI for like, 2 weeks until you can actually like create something.
And you know what? Having fun is important. I mean, this is art is your passion. Art is what you do. You should enjoy while you're doing it as well.
Yes,
And if you can have, do something a little off the beaten path and creative and having fun with it at the same time, and this is all new technology, you're growing with it. And as you learn more and more, I'm sure, it might be a little bit more constrictive, but the more you play around with it, the more little tricks and tips you figure out for yourself the next time, a little bit, more comfortable you are with the next level.
yeah, I would say having fun is like the most important part for me. Um, because I had like a real job before this that, actually paid bills and whatnot. And I know that if I wanted to actually like, like make that amount of money, I could just work that real job because in the art world, if you want to make money, you don't always get to do it just making whatever you want. Um, so knowing that, it's just kind of like you got to go into it being like I want to, enjoy what it is that I'm doing. Like I'm doing this because I want to enjoy my life. I want to enjoy what it is that I'm making, and yeah, because like the money might not be there, right? So you got to get something out of it, and if you're not having fun, then what are you doing?
I love that. I love that you get to love what you do every day. That's amazing. And I do think it's fun that, that your other half is doing something very similar. So you have that to fall back on that, you kind of can support each other in both, not necessarily financially, but more like from an emotional standpoint, like, this is what I'm creating today. Come check it out. Look at what I'm doing and kind of build each other up that way as well.
Definitely.
Very
Yeah,
sweet.
I like the part of you're not always going to make money and it's hard, and that message doesn't get out enough. And I think a lot, like yeah, do it as a hobby, that's fine, but when you find your passion and you really are excited about it and you want to learn more and dive deeper and you get into these different technologies, people get, they get bummed out when it doesn't kind of all work. It's not always going to all click, and it's not always going to be as creative and as you have to work at it. You have to put in the time, and you're right, it's not always going to be super successful and super rewarding where you're financially, look, it's side money. Yeah, it does work for some people, that's great, but not
Mhm.
everybody. So enjoy it, grow with it, learn, and do it for yourself instead of trying to do it for others to show off kind of online. It's, I think that's a younger kind of perspective when they try and do things. I think if you mature enough and you do that, and no, I love all the tech you're doing. It's amazing, obviously. Like I had to
Mm.
like be quiet the whole time just to kind of see it, and just amazing how you can merge a lot of the different, just VR and stuff. And I have friends that do Gravity Sketch, and they do NFTs in there, and they kind of produce it all, and it's amazing. And it takes a lot of talent and a lot of special, hours to kind of create and be. I love the outputting, and then doing all the different collections on the different platforms. It's amazing. Like you're definitely diving into a lot of different worlds, and it's great to see the creativity shine through.
Thank you.
I did play in Gravity Sketch once. I made a unicorn, and that was my play with Gravity Sketch. And then I put it away neatly, and I continued on
Nice.
because it was really difficult and very challenging, and I was not having the artistic abilities that you have at all.
Gravity Sketch is one of those that it's a little bit harder. Like you have to like spend more time to learn it, but what you can create looks better than what you can create in Tilt Brush. So yeah, that's why I'm also amazed by what I've created in Tilt Brush. I'm just like, wow, like this program is kind of sucks. Like I don't want to say that out loud, um, but it's the only one that you can do like the audio reactive stuff, and I kind of like fell in love with that.
And it is impressive to see for sure.
Thank you.
We're going to open up the floor and put up the raise hand feature. If anyone would like to ask any questions of Mana, or the work that she does. Also, if you look up here on the screen, you'll see that's her regular IG, where her NFTs and the Pulse Cats and all of that are there. The other IG that we had up there is her AI art. I think we have another slide that we have with that IG on there. So if any of you would like to follow her work and see her upcoming projects, feel free to check out her Instagram. There we go. That's the AI art. And both of them are definitely worth following. The art is just absolutely beautiful on there. I love to look through them. And, and I follow you on Twitter too. And I see your images pop up. I always know when it's, I love it.
Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions?
I have a question from Troy. Go ahead, Troy.
Hello.
Hello.
I thought I saw a link on there. I was wondering if you had like a gallery that we could go check out.
So most of my artwork is just on my two accounts, like my two IG accounts. I do have like a separate website just for Pulse Cats. It's just like my Pulse Cats on there. That's pulsecats.com. But right now, most of my artwork is just on my IG.
Okay.
We also
Yeah, no,
have our Discord, and the slides from this show will be posted on the Discord later. So if you go onto there, you can actually access the links from these slides. So that will take you to the different links that you saw up here today, whether it's the Instagram or the one where the hummingbird was up on that other website.
okay. No, I was just gonna say I do AI art too, and I found that galleries are like VR galleries are a really great way to convey what you're working on. And I just set one up in spatial, so I'm kind of experimenting with that. I think that's something to check out too.
Yeah, I
Nice.
definitely need to get on that. Like I would love to make a spatial gallery. I've been
Yeah,
working
it's pretty
so
easy,
hard.
actually. Yeah. They got kind of a
That
drag
will
and
be your
drop
project for
feature over there.
2023.
Yeah, now that I'm done with the 1,000 dogs, I was kind of rushing to finish those dogs, and now I have some time. It's a good idea. Thanks for bringing it up.
Yeah.
Thank you, Troy. Does anyone else have any questions? I'm really glad we were able to bring you back on to kind of get an update on the projects and to see the new stuff that you're doing. Like I said, everybody follow her accounts. They're beautiful. You'll get to watch all the different projects as they come out, including your new AI art projects. But thank you for coming on and sharing all this with us. Is there anything else that you'd like to tell us about that's upcoming that, we should be keeping an eye out for?
So there's, like I mentioned, reveal for the dogs happening soon, and then I have that one NFT that's available, and then I might be doing some AI art NFTs here and there, so you can kind of keep an eye out for those. But yeah, that's what I'm working on for now. And Pulse Chain will launch one day. And
You
then
hear
when
that,
it
Pixel?
launches, then Pulse Cats will also launch.
So
But
we
yeah,
will
thank
keep
you
an
for
eye
having
out for
me.
that. Of course. Thank you for coming on. Everyone, please send up some hearts for Mana. That was a great art show that she gave us. And next week will be our last show in AltSpace. We're going to do a little, group show of our team, some updates as to where everyone is going, some updates on new projects that are happening. So we hope that you'll join us next Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. And we are going to be bringing Crypto City over into Spatial. Be a couple weeks in between while we get transitioned over, but in the meantime, follow our Discord, follow our Instagram and Facebook, and you'll keep in touch with us, and you'll be able to know when our next event it will happen once we are fully switched over. Thank you all for coming tonight, and we will see you next week.
Thanks, everybody.
Guys.